Suma's POV. I have been in Captain Gigualis' private quarters before, but whenever I am, bad news follows. Perched on a vine, across from both the captain and Lieutenant Datahu, I prepared myself for another bout of whatever misery awaited me. By the dragons, Jake and I were already drowning in it. What else could clip our wings?
Thank you for coming, Private Suma, the captain said.
My pleasure, sir.
The lieutenant and I simply wanted to inform you of the role Sentinel will be expected to play in our upcoming missions.
We also wanted to ask you about his mental state, following the briefing about the mission's goal, Datahu said. Should Sentinel not be here for this then? I asked. Perhaps, but we wanted to discuss it with you privately first, she replied.
As per the mission specifics, Sentinel will not be the one expected to kill the target, though he should prepare himself for that possibility, should it become necessary, Gigualis explained.
I breathed a sigh of relief. I think he will be pleased to hear that. Somewhat, anyway, but what will he be expected to do?
At the moment, we plan on having him fulfill a support role, using his inversion magic to neutralize enemy attacks. Additionally, after having read the reports from one Specialist Von Pack, Sentinel will provide his mana to our teammates while in the field.
Specialist Von Pack? I asked, confused. I knew the name. He was the noble that Jake and I trained beside regularly at basic training camp. To think he became a specialist so quickly, whereas I am still a private. May I ask what reports, sir?
The report suggests that an infusion of Sentinel's mana can massively increase the effectiveness of a spell, as well as completely revitalize a Nue for a short time. As you can understand, that kind of support will be extremely useful in combat.
Although we would need to take into consideration the drawbacks also stated in the report, Datahu said. Extreme lethargy, and an inversion of all spell effects could do more harm than good in many situations.
Which is why in the field you are forbidden from accessing any of your familiar's mana. If your spells are inverted, we will lose access to our main source of healing magic, the captain added.
I understand.
Good. Now moving on to Sentinel's mental state. He seemed to have an extreme reaction to hearing that the target was a member of his own kind.
I would think anyone would, Captain. Lieutenant Datahu interrupted. That is not the point, Private. Since Sentinel is not under the right of dominance, your control over him is not total. Our question is, will Sentinel side with his own kind over us, should he be faced with a choice? A wave of guilt washed through me, because, admittedly, I had asked myself the same question, more than once. This will be tough for Jake. Killing in battle is different from planning to kill someone specific, especially if he is not prepared for it. Assassination and murder are illegal for a reason. It is cold, calculated, and antithetical to the morals of most of his and our kind. To kill someone in battle is to kill while full of emotions, without thinking, without processing. You simply move, fly, and fight, or you will die. But to assassinate someone, there can be no emotion there, except the anxiety of failure. And the understanding that you are actively choosing to kill someone, even if they are not choosing to kill you. Anyone can fight a battle, but taking a life without the need to? That is, well, there is a reason most could never do it, even if they knew they needed to. That is not the answer we had hoped for, Lieutenant Datahu said.
Nor did it answer the question,
Captain Giguales pointed out. I believe he would never betray us, but I do not know if he would kill a member of his own kind for us either, I answered.
A rather non-committal answer, but it is fine for now. We will do our best to not put him into that situation as per the original plan, the captain said. Changing topics, Datahu, rather than your recent simple sparring matches with Sentinel, I want you to help him develop a defensive spell. He is sorely lacking one.
It is true. While his long-range attacks have no equal, he is now, in close or even medium-range combat, he would be outmatched by any medium or upper-class mage with combat experience, Datahu said.
And trying to find a way to increase his speed. Moving the whole squad as slowly as he does is not viable, and would get us all killed.
Actually, he told me that he was already working on that, I interjected.
He already has a spell for it. Excellent.
No, sir, it was the project he was working on when he accidentally caused that explosion, I said.
The Rune experiment. I ordered him to cease those.
He has not restarted, sir, I interrupted, not wanting to give him the wrong impression. But he was nearing completion when he stopped. If you allowed him to resume under careful observation, perhaps he could be ready by the time of our departure? And he could use his rune to increase his speed, Datu asked. I believe he said it would be ineffective in combat, but that it would allow him to keep pace with us during travel, I explained, doing my best to remember what Jake had told me about the project. Captain Giguales sighed, and his feathers pressed down against his body.
Fine. He can resume working on the Rune experiment under close supervision.
Thank you, Captain.
Lieutenant, your orders stand. Find Sentinel a spell to defend himself with.
Yes, Captain.
You both have 3 days before we deploy for the island of Sangu. Work day and night if you need to, he added.